First, folks, can you hear me? Perry the Carving Wizard is here. Can you hear me, guys? I got 5 waiting to edit now. Hi, Perry. The Electric Whittler is here. How you doing, Josh? Thanks for coming, man. Can you guys hear me? Yes, we hear you, says Perry. Good. Then I will get going. Now, it is time for WIP Wednesdays with Wowwy'z Workshop. Thank you for coming. I'm Wowie, and this is the workshop. Well, this is the creation station, I call. It's my little carving space, my little cocoon out in the shed, and where great things happen, folks. And thank you for coming and being part of this. We love doing this. This has been great. Everybody's saying hello. Oh, my brother is here. Hello, Darren. Great. Thank you for coming, man. Love you, bro. I just talked to Ma. I guess I'm coming and we're having a Brody night on Friday, eh? Good deal. Thank you. Matthew is here. Happy Curmudgeon Carvings is here. The Electric Whittler is here. Grumpy's Laid Back Carvings is here. Always #1, Grumpy slides in with that little, he gets a little crown on there. Or #2. Well, I don't know how it works, but Grumpy's always in here. Always in here like the first guy. And I love you, buddy. How's everybody doing? Dad's here? Dad carves? All the good people rolling in. I hope you're doing good, bro. Been thinking a lot about you. Wonder how the trap line's going. Yeah, folks, bit by bit, we're getting our underbelly, my brother's workshop. Well, it's our workshop, but it's where my brother lives. And so it's basically his. It's like how I got the creation station here. Well, it's his little one. But we're getting it re-going. We're getting new life brought into it. We got a new pump for the pond, so the pond's going. The good energy's going, you know? And in the mom's backyard is all getting cleaned up and stuff, and it's getting really good. So I got high hopes. I got high Wowie hopes. Everybody's just saying hello. The Electric Whittler says, I got a set of carving chisels this weekend and I'm having so much fun with them. I'm considering having to change my name. Hey, carving chisels can be a lot of fun. I have like a little stash on the side there where each time I get a good chisel, I put it in my I got a Milwaukee backpack for on-site carving and stuff, on-site art. And there's got all these slots for tools in it. And this rip-proof material, really cool. If it wasn't buried in stuff, I'd drag it up here and show you guys. But yeah, I put all my chisels in there as I get them. Because I know chiseling is coming one day. My lungs can't take the power carving forever, right? I was hard on my lungs, folks. Listen to Wowie, don't do it the hard way. Be good to your body. Be good to your vessel. It's just so peaceful, none of the noise. Yes, I hear you. I totally hear you, Josh. I totally hear you. So how's everybody doing? Everybody's rolling in and talking. So I'll just do a little showcase of what's going on today. What's on the old carving box today, folks? Well, I'll just do some updates first. Our Steampunk challenge piece is coming along. Now, he has been carved, and I know it might look like that hole's like not right when it's on camera here, but I can assure you, folks, that hole is right up the center of him. Perfectly. And also on the back, I've carved way deep in there. I went in there with a Forester bit because the main key for the Steampunk skull, as some of you guys know, it's an old Russian, what is that called, Darren? Darren knows. This key has this slot in it, right? So the design I came up with was that when it's shoved in there and the hardware is on there, I can go in there and there's the slot, right? So I dug it deep enough so that frick, man, can you see? So I dug it deep enough so that key's poking through and the slot is reachable. So what I'm going to do in the back there is get a good gauge of copper wire in through the slot and then around a couple of times And then I can decide if I want to have this thing be, like, if it's turnable, or I go in back there, once the wire's in there and keeping everything good and tight, I pour epoxy in there. And that epoxy will get in between everything and into the sides of the wood, and that'll make it so that that key can't turn at all. So I still have to decide that part yet, but just to carve the hole and then go in through the back, man, those were the big steps. Everything else is just lining it up now and screwing it all together. So yeah, you know what, I used that laser level and I thought I had it right, but until I got that, I put that skull in the Jawhorse outside. The Jawhorse links are down below if you need a good tool, man. Hey, an extra set of hands, get yourself a Jawhorse. All right, links in the basement. And so I got that in the Jawhorse, and I made sure it was level and everything and pointing exactly straight up. And I just, you crouch down and you get to the level of that bad boy, right? And that's how you can really, trust your eyes, trust your gut. And I saw the middle, and I frickin' drilled her. All right. We did her to her. What else? Bing! You guys, bing! Now, well, before I get excited here, I got to address something, you guys. In the basement, what I call the video description, folks, is I've made it the first link. Now, this is the fundraiser for Spike. Now, most of you guys know Spike. He's a brother. He's a fellow warrior. I call him a wolf brother. He's got the loyalty of a wolf. He has the spirit of being in the woods. He's an amazing person and friend, okay, guys? And Spike, for a while now, has been raising funds so he can get a proper wheelchair, okay? He has a whole list of things that are wrong with his spine and back. He lives in severe pain. And I hope that I'm not betraying him by saying that lately Spike's been having a hard go, guys, and really going through it, and I can empathize to a degree, because I understand what it's like when you wreck your body. My back is frigged up, for those who don't know, and you have this burning fire inside, but yet the vessel won't allow for what you want and intend. But the vessel cannot support it. When the vessel cannot support the engine, the fire, the flame, that is a type of torture that is impossible to convey unless you've been there yourselves. Okay? Having to lay somewhere when your independence is gone and you can't physically do shit, the things that you want to do, it is in its own hell. And I can say this from being a made in pain warrior. I know. I've lived with chronic pain since 2005. There hasn't been a day where I haven't been in pain since that date, okay? And I can understand, and I empathize to so much that it just, every day I think of Spike, okay, guys? And so I've put his link, and I'm gonna continue to do this as I do the lives. I'm gonna be putting it in every so often. I'm gonna be putting it in there and doing this again and again and again, so that we can get eyes on that. I know my views have been getting a little bit better. I am in vertical, which helps. I know, I've learned. But regardless of where the banked hours go, I'm doing the vertical so I can get more eyes on this channel and on the things that we support and care about. And that is Spike, okay? So I've put the very first link before our Kutzall and Amazon stuff, which I'll talk about soon, is Spike's link, guys. Every single cent, pound, wherever you're from, okay? Every little bit counts. And if my lives start getting some freaking traction, and we could get a lot of, like, even if you don't know us personally, okay? I'm reaching out to you. The person that's doom scrolling, stop and listen. This is a cause that is so worthy. I am giving you my everything, that this man is a great man that deserves this, okay? And I know that collectively we can help. I know that most people in this time and temperature of the world and everything that's going on right now, the temperament, I should say, a lot of people don't have it, and that is okay. I don't have it this month, but some months I do have a little bit, and I've been putting it away. I've already donated once from Two Brothers One Vision, and we're going to continue to do that. We have to do this for Spike. So that's the link, and you can continue to see the link in upcoming lives. We love you, man. You're not alone, Spike. You are not alone. Okay. Jordy, relax, bro. Night Owl is here. Hello, Aiden. Who else is here? Baron Boss Lady is here. Hello. I'm sorry that took a little bit of time there to get it all out, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Oh, Jane, he needs a lot. He needs, it's this wheelchair that he's been rallying to get is like, it's the top-notch thing that can actually get into trails, like to go on to, like, he doesn't want to, he's not trying to get into the forest of the, overgrown forest where there's to a degree of where accessibility, but the chair that he wants to get is one that is rugged and that can get and go on trails, forest trails, possibly bike trails or whatever, go however trails work. You know what I'm saying? But into the forest, off of the bed. Spike uses crutches, and lately he hasn't even been able to use them because he's been in so much pain. My heart aches for my friend. So this is the beginning of many to come. We're rallying. Jane says it's so hard to claw your way back when you don't think there's any hope. Isn't that the truth, sister? You obviously know from experience. I think it was something like $10,000. Yes, I think so, Josh. It's around there. It's a really expensive piece of kit. You'd think that, yes, back into nature where he belongs, Josh. Back into nature, says Aiden. Much love, guys. Tribe strong. That's where he belongs, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make that help. Right way to spell that. Sounds like being imprisoned. It sounds a lot like being imprisoned, says the Electric Willer. That's exactly what it feels like. Being in a cage. And when you yearn to do things, I was telling my wife, we watch on YouTube, oftentimes I watch, the part videos. I used to be a skateboarder in my younger life. I loved it. Okay, I can't do that anymore, and snowboard as well. I just adored doing, and I watch these part videos on, and my God, do I miss that? Just the freedom. I used to grab my skateboard and leave, and not come home till the nighttime, and I'd go from one side of that city to the other with my little pack of hoodlums, my brother, and it was a freedom like I could never ever duplicate. And I lay, especially when days are hard and a lot of pain, and I'll just lay there and think about skating, man, and just going and just pumping down that road. Okay, guys. Darren Dib, the keys are an antique Russian. Yes. So that was sorry, that was a delayed question there. I was asking my brother to help me. This is a Russian samovar spigot key. Okay? And I just wanted it just looked like we have 4 of these things and I haven't used them for anything, and so this was the time. This was the time and this was the place. Dead men tell no tales. You understand? Dead men tell no frickin' tales. That's the back, that's the little the brass. And so once I got that on there, then the final. Because I tell you, man, your eyes and your everything, they can fucking... Whoops, sorry, Ali. I swore. What did I make it in? Like 15 minutes. And then I said the F word. Well, gosh darn. Anyways, this is going underneath. And so now I've been looking up the center of this bee bugger and trying to make sure I get that one in the optimal position. And so I decided last time I was doing it, last live, I was trying to mess with the laser level and stuff, and I felt the pressure of the eyes on me. And doing this part here, lining these things up and drilling the forever holes, you know, lining these things up, I ain't rushing that. I am not doing that. So like when I did the hole here, I was out there, I made everything, it was peace and calm. And then I addressed it and gave it my full attention, okay? So I don't like doing that part on the lives. Whoa, hit the laptop. Next, Bing. Lots of things happen with Bing. As you can see, her crystal holes are all done. Yeah, and her third eye crystal hole is done. Woo! Little Bing. Her time to sing. Of course, 7 crystals in the end were chosen, and then her third eye crystal. And I've been sanding on her robe. Oh, look at her other little arm has been defined. So there's a little bit more to her. So yes, now that the crystal holes are all done, I just get the robe to the point where I'm happy. And then we start painting the robe and doing attaching her to the base and all of that stuff. So lots of things are coming with old little Miss Bing. Now, also this, I wanted to show you. Before in the beginning, I was going to use a white cord with an inline switch, but now I'm using that on that, it's another thing that I'm doing. It's like the torch light piece that some of you might know, but, okay, this. So this one here has an inline switch, North American cord, but this is an antique, like to look antique. They used to do these twisted, almost braided, but they used to do these cloth covered cords way back in the day. And these are new ones meant to look that way, right? So Bing's gonna get that cord because Bing is special, you guys. And, you know, it's not that the white cord that's going on the other wall hanger thing isn't special, but this is extra special, cost a little bit more. We're putting a lot into Bing because she's special. So yes, what I was rambling on there is that I'll work a little bit on just getting her robe ready for paint. And then all of that starts to happen. And then we're going to use flock as moss on the top around the crystals. We're going to use static grass. Sorry, I had to do that because you shake a hopper. I shouldn't do that. Okay, static grass. I'll just go like this. We'll put static grass on her. And then... yeah, make it look like she's come out of the crystal. And then she gets wired. This is a lamp, you guys. This is a lamp. You see? Oh, God, it's hard to get you guys to be able to see. But down in here, I've used a spade bit. And I know it's going to fit the socket, which is an E12 socket. And, yeah. I don't have the E12 socket around hand right now. But... yes, she's going to be a lamp, and I have extra special bulbs coming that are going to match her crystal. It's going to be just freaking fantastic, guys. And that's what's going on with Bing. Lots of things happened in the past little bit. Since last Wednesday, I've been giving her over the weekend, man. I was like, I just sat back. I did my meditation. I did my ohms. Make sure it vibrates. This is the secret to Om, you guys. You have to say it. You have to let it vibrate into your body. And I just thought about it, all these final steps that are like really big steps to take. And after I centered myself, nasal breathing, I was ready, man. I just went into it. Bing, 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 bing. All the crystal holes. The keyhole for this steampunk skull. I just went at her. And... you know, I'm so happy I did it because these are the kind of things that they can hold you up in the end because they're major steps, right? So we are getting close. We are getting close. Now, today's little project. Let me see, is that light okay? Yes. Now this, my friends, is Fiona. Okay, let me see. Howdy there. Hey, Matt Carves is here. So Under the Bark is here. Oh, sorry, guys. I'll just catch up with our folks here. R.C. Peters is in the house. Happy Curmudgeon Carving. There's Grumpy. Sophie and Matt. How you doing, Matt? About to buy a Mora knife, says Robert. Please, if you are with us, don't forget to like, says Sophie. Yes, please hit the like. The like button. You know what, folks? I solved the problem. Everybody talks about this mysterious algorithm. I found out what the algorithm is. It's a big chubby hamster that eats way too much, and it lives off the lakes, okay? So the algorithm is this fat chubby hamster, and every time you hit that like, bing bing, these little pellets go to him, her, it. And it keeps the algorithm hamster alive. So you don't have to like me, you don't have to love Wowie, love the hammy. Hit that like and get that little hammy fed. Yeah, I found out what the mysterious algorithm was. It was a freaking hamster. Wow. Okay, guys. Yep, we gotta feed that hamster, people, says Electric Whittler. Thank you, sir, for understanding. Yeah, well, he needs the algorithm. And I think slowly but surely it's starting to like me a little bit more. You know, I know the views on the vertical are they don't count like they do in the horizontal to your long form video count, I guess Jordy was telling me. Wow, he's been smoking the good stuff. Actually, bro, I did earlier when I first got up with my morning pain meds, but this is Wowie. I'm sorry. Yes, double tap on the phone screen, folks. All the doom scrollers. Give the hammy a pellet. If I made you laugh, Aiden, then I'm doing my job. Okay, guys. This is Fiona. Now, I carved Little Miss Fiona many moons ago. I found this flower pot thing. I bought that at an antique store. So it was just like this. And this was turned by some amazing wood turner way back in the day. Sorry, that says Two Brothers, One Vision. 2B1V. Everything is backwards here. Sorry, guys, because I'm using the front of my phone. But, so I found this, and it's got like a tube in it that's coated. Alright? Like waterproof. So you can actually use this with a real flower. And I thought that was so cool. So once I was okay enough to carve a face into it, I did that, and I named her Fiona. Then, some time goes by. I'm talking to a friend of mine who's a wood turner. Goes by the name of the mad scientist. You may have heard of him. Pete Blair is the name. Pete Blair is the name, and wood turning is his game. And we started getting into talks, and we figured out the size of the hole for, check this out, a glass stopper. Now, I just found these ones. I like the size of it. I was finding different glass stoppers on Amazon that would be around the right size of the hole. And then he checked with his wood turning stuff and the drill hole thing and stuff. And we figured out a hole size. And so I bought them, and they just happened to fit just perfect in Kentucky, as we like to say here. So the whole thing with this is that you can pull it out, clean it. Like at first I was going to glue these in to them. But no, it was my wife, Spooky Doobie, who said that. She was like, no, leave it, make it so you can pull it out and clean it. So you can put actual flowers in it. Isn't that neat, right? And then, like, I just asked him to make me one, if that was okay, and see if we could pull it off. And then what does he do? He sends a box of them, different ones. You're going to see them as we unroll. And that's called the Fiona Project. So basically, this is part one of the Fiona Project. Because we're going to make one today. We're going to carve in a little face. Now, I have to take into account, you see, we have to take into account how deep that hole goes, right? For the length of the beaker. Because we don't want to start carving in there and then punch her through into a cavity. That would be bad. That would make Wowie sad. Okay? How are we doing here? Aubrey is here. My cousin Aubrey. I'm trying to be technologically advanced using my phone. Is it working? Working with an E. It is, my cousin. Much love, and thank you for coming back. It's working just fine. Work with an E, guys. This is our work. All right. How is Darren doing? Kamari is here. Kamyari. Hello, Kamyari. Hello, brother. Much love. Welcome to the channel. Darren is actually here, but he'll have to talk to you himself about that, because Darren has been struggling. He has new hernias, and so only, I guess, the people with hernias understand how hard that is to get up and face your day when every movement and everything, and you can't carry anything, and everything hurts. And so add that to his neuropathy. That's how he's doing. And he's a fucking warrior. So I have to take into account how deep I carve so I don't punch through in the eyes and the brow section. You know what I'm saying? And when I was sitting out here, Jordy's here. Hello, Carving Fusion by Jordy Johnson. That's awesome. It is days that get us sometimes. Kamyari, you understand. Yes, lots of pain, Sophie. Lots of pain and a hernia. Ripped stomach lining muscles. How are you doing, Jordy? Thanks for coming, man. Really appreciate that. Last weekend, it was kind of funny. We had a good laugh about it. Last weekend, I got all going here and stuff, and I got running, and I noticed, we got a few less of the tribe here. What's happening here? And I'm watching everybody roll in and stuff, and I could see that there was a big lack. Like I was getting good views on the doom scrolling, folks, but the tribe were all kind of missing. And I noticed, Grumpy would be here, and then he would kind of disappear for a little bit and then come back. I was like, what the heck's going on? And then I found out, old Jordy's going live at the tent, carving a frickin' all sorts of awesome things. And I'm here doing a stupid ramble and a jamble. Of course they're going to watch his. That's why. Frickin' Jord. Just kidding, brother. Love you, man. I would have watched mine too. Or I would have watched your stream too. You do a lot more in that time than I get done. Matt Carves is here. He is the man we can blame. I mean, thank for all of this. LOL, says Jay. Yes, you are sure. That is true, man. We're all branches of the Carving Fusion tree, and that's how it's always going to be. That's just the root of it. Yeah, I was like, wow, we got the cooties. What's going on here? That's right, Grumpy. I knew. He says I was watching both. Amy Jo was too. Well, I caught Amy Jo say, "LOL, I'm scroll saw carving. No, I'm cutting with a scroll saw and watching two lives at the same time." And when I caught that on the, and I was like, "Who?" But it was Jordan. It was all good. Amy Jo was watching 3 at the same time. Jesus. Oh yeah, Happy Conversion was there too. Oh, and Kyle. Then it snowballed. And then yes, Creation Dust 777 a lot of the times will go before Wowie. And so it's a big, huge, there's a lot of stuff going on Wednesdays, I thought I'd pick the one day that nobody would be doing nothing, right? 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's why that way that my folks down south, where the majority of our watchers are our American neighbors, and I wanted them to be able to catch it, in the early evening after work kind of deal. And then I also wanted to take into consideration all of our family across the pond, our friends in the UK, Wheels, one of our moderators and really good friends, and then we got Spike in Scotland, and then we got Simon in Germany, and we got Claire in France, and we got Aiden in Ireland, and I want to include everybody. So that's why I picked 2 p.m. Pacific. So even then the night owls can still catch me too. It's a busy day on Wednesday. Yes, well, we picked I picked one heck of a time. But hey, it's WIP Wednesdays. It's the vision. It's my original vision, and I'm freaking going with it. Okay, guys. Well, I ramble and I jamble. So I'm thinking I want to do what I was just saying I was doing and make kind of one like her. And it'll be a usable reel. And so I was sitting today and bored. Wowwy'z worldwide, says the electric whittler. Yes, tribe worldwide. Wowie likes to say tribe worldwide. Tribe strong. Tribe strong. Kindred spirits. So I was sitting out there and I was thinking, well, we got to make it because I know how much I talk. So we got to make it so that this doesn't get bored. And I have a hard time when I got the eyes on me lining things up and stuff. So bing! That's what I did. That's what I done. That's a pretty nice, peaceful... No, I'll tell you guys a few things. This is called the face grain. And when you're carving in, like faces, it's awesome to be able to use the face grain. Rambling and jambling, says Aubrey. You betcha. That's how we do it to it here. So that's the face grain. So, and then this, that's edge grain. So if you got the option, always carve into the face grain, go, folks. It's just what I've learned. It's the way I learned from watching Jordy. It just works. It works better. Like if you're carving on the edge, those different grain lines can be different hardness. So that's like, it don't make that much sense when you're like trying to carve that as your face surface, right? It makes way more sense to do it into the end or into the face grain. Okay, I'm sorry, this is just how it goes. And so I thought, well, that's a really, really nice, peaceful look. You see? Thank you for brightening up our evening, says so. Well, I do what I can. So yes, that's a nice, peaceful, and like, I would like to like say, like, you got your face grain there, and so I did make a little bit of a center line, but not much. And then to make my eyes and stuff, I just counted. I counted the lines out from the center nose, and that's how I like marked out how big each eye was going to be, and the cheek on either side. And it looks pretty even, I would say. What do you guys think? You think that'll be a nice little Fiona project part 1? That's what we're going to do. Okay? Now to do that, I got to say now, we are proud Kutzall affiliates, guys. You'll see underneath the Spike link below. And again, we're rallying for Spike. Anybody who can, please help. Follow the link below and donate to our great friend and brother. And underneath his link, you're going to see our Kutzall affiliate link. And if you go to the Kutzall site through that link, you'll automatically get a discount that gets applied at the end. If not, you use, just to be sure, I heard that they were phasing out promo codes, but our promo code is DIB5, okay? This is for the Kutzall stuff. You'll get a discount. But we are affiliates, and today to do this, I'm going to be using a mixture of carbide cutters from Dremel that you can get from Amazon, and the Amazon links are below the Kutzall link, down in the basement below. All of the tools that I'm going to be using today are available down below. They might not be available in your country, and I apologize for that. I can only just post the link and then hope for the best, right? But in North America, you're going to have a pretty good chance. I'm Amazon.ca. I'm in Canada here. Proud and true. Vancouver Island, folks. West Coast is the best coast. Okay? Sorry to anybody over on the New York side, but this is the way. This is the way to go. Do with my little gift. That's good. Okay, everybody's just talking. Good, good. Oh, I made my donation to Spike. Every dollar is important, says So under the bark. Thank you, sister. That is hugely and greatly appreciated. I know he does. So, today, on our carve, I'll be using the cutters from Dremel, like I was just rambling about. And those are like these kinds of little carbide cutters, okay? I like to use these to cut around my pencil line And as always, I'm using the Dremel Flexshaft on a rotary tool. That's not. And this is one that's loaded up with a Kutzall bit. And that's what power carving is. If you're doing a Dremel power carving, you can also chainsaw carve. But that's how we're doing it. So I like to go around my lines with my little carbide ball and just cut that in. Now, when you're doing a face like this, you got to see it in layers, okay, in steps. How does a face work? Well, first it's the nose, especially if you're a wowie. Broke it 13 times, folks. 13. But one time it was plastic surgery, so that doesn't really count. Anyways, you get a schnoz like this, you got to pop that off the page, right? You got to pop that off the surface. So you carve in the brow and the nose first, and then carve everything else away, down, until you can establish that little nose. Now, I can't go super deep because this has a cavity in there, but underneath where the mouth is, I can go a lot deeper than I can where the eyes are. So I do, like, I redraw these lines numerous times throughout as I go, because you kind of carve them away and then draw them back on and then keep carving. So my style of carving anyways, you end up doing those lines a lot over and over again, and you just chase those features in. You'll see how I do it. Every time I do a step, a layer, I'll stop, I'll take a break, a breather, a drink of water, and then show you what I done. And sanding. I'm a crazy sander, guys. I have OCD. In case you couldn't tell, I just ain't all right here. And yeah, by the time I'm done sanding, I do more sanding than I do carving. Let's just say that. It's crazy. Like, ridiculously amount. So, Baron Boss Lady. Hello, everybody's just talking. Good. I'll just keep on going here. She's warm. I got my DeWalt fan down here. A 20 volt. This here. Oh, this is a lightsaber, guys. I told Jordy that I almost frickin' died last week. Oh, I need that blowing up the center of me. Wearing one of my brother's beautiful arrowhead copper pendants. This is a symbol for strength, the mark of a warrior, we say. And when I start going, I'll put that underneath, because you don't want that wrapped up into your unit. It ain't nice. Jordy Johnson says it ain't nice. So yeah, I'll get this cleared away. Whoa, Jesus. Get this cleared away a little bit here, so I don't lose all of the special bits. Ho ho, lordy no. Can't be losing the bits. I'll get myself a little hydration. Man, I'm glad you all could make it. All right. And this, sorry with the light again. I'm breaking out, you guys, because this is a smaller carve. I'm breaking out my fine detail, the new Kutzall set that you can find through my link down there. And this is great. And they have one of these is a small ball. I know it's hard to see, but you see this one here? It's a little tiny small ball. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to cut in those feature lines first with the carbide, and then I'm going to use that to make, like, it's kind of like sanding when you're using the fine flavor. Jesus, that was close. Yes, when you're using the fine, it's like you're doing an 80 grit sanding, or maybe even a 150 sanding. That's what the grit of the burr is like. And I got all sorts of burrs in fine. You can get the fine taper. You can get the fine ball nose. These are all the different Kutzall burrs that you can get. And when you get into it, it's like this whole new world, folks. And it's like having different types of paintbrushes. That's a good way of conveying it. It's like having different tools, you know, rolling out your tools or all your chisels. If you're a traditional carver, well, all your burrs are like rolling out your tools, right? And then they got balls, little balls in the fine. And then, of course, almost everybody's favorite, the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. This is the tried and true from Mr. Johnson. If he's still watching, he's probably far, far bored by now and took off. But that's the tried and true. It's kind of like the favorite of the tribe, man, because with that flame shape, you can really just use it like kind of like a marker, like how a marker draws, and just go on there and just freaking do it to it. Okay, guys. Yeah, I'll just get this cleared away, like I said there. Sorry. Just put down Bing here. Bing. Steampunk skull. I swear that hole's in the middle. Don't question me. As you can see, it's right up the middle. Or is it? Oh. I seriously need to update my burr, says Tons of Fun. Hello, Tons of Fun. Thank you for coming, man. Matt Carves, they're quite fans. They're quiet fans. Yes, they are. This DeWalt. It's a humdinger. A fair dinkum. Mate. She's a fair dinkum, mate. She's a beauty. Drink some water, bro, says so. Okay. Thank you, sister. All right. Oh, that's the cord. There's Bing's cord. Can't lose that. Can't wait to fire her up, guys. I got the thing that I got the notification that the bulbs have been sent, and the bulbs for Bing are actual. They look like crystals, but they're LED bulbs. Whoa! That's freaking, I couldn't believe it. It was weird, man. I woke up and I got up and I started thinking about stuff, and I was downstairs having my morning coffee, and I just heard this in my ear: crystal LED bulbs. Search crystal LED bulbs, and I was kind of like, what? I didn't even remember that I even had Bing on the go. It was that early. And so I just, okay, because I follow the whisper of your soul, it will not lead you astray. And I followed it, and I found them. It was on Etsy, and there was round crystal, and then one that kind of looks like like the crystals that I'm using, you know, the classic quartz crystal. And then another one that was like a round cylinder. And they were all different versions of the crystal LED bulbs. So Bing, with all of her beautiful, the final touches, she's going to be holding that little light. Bing in it. She's a guardian, but she's just a little wee one. And then when little Bings grow up, they become watchers. If you don't know what a watcher is, you go to our videos, you go to our page, you subscribe, please, and then you'll go back and you watch the watcher videos, and then you'll understand. And you'll understand a lot more about us and how we tick. Guardians of the light. Watchers over man. They're the good ones. They're not the fallen angels. They're not the bad things from Tales of Old. My Wowwy'z watchers are ones that are holding the light, and the light represents love and hope. And that's what the watchers are. No facial features or very, very little features, because all it is faces of fire. And one of my watchers, I did her face just smooth, featureless, but I did it in copper leaf. And so she's holding a little bulb, and you can see the reflection of the bulb on her face. Yeah, it worked, man. And it was a vision that we fulfilled, and I am just so proud of that. And that's called the Forest Watcher, and that's in our videos, in our makers videos. So go check it all out, man. Welcome. Okay. Jeez. I'm excited, you guys. You know, making the very first of the Fiona project. There's the glass tube. We do not want to break that. Oh, I can't, no. LaRue! LaRue's in the house, folks. Everybody, say hello to LaRue. LaRue, look after this glass tube, please. Thank you, sir. Okay, guys, always PPE. First, spider check. We don't like spideys here. And put in a face mask with a spider in it. Ain't very nice, as Jordy likes to say. Ain't very nice. He actually said that when he was talking about getting an angle grinder caught in your hoodie. Yow! It ain't very nice. No, it isn't. Like your top, Larry, says Mark. Thank you. I feel like it represents us two brothers, one vision, because we're Métis Indigenous. Our great grandma is full blood, Iroquois and Cree. Iroquois and Cree were her parents, and she was full blood. So I'm Métis, like we're recognized Indigenous, but just not as much as most, right? We're down the family line a little bit, but we were very, very proud of our blood. And this, the two arrows, I just feel like this one represents two brothers, one vision really, really well. And this is Lords of Gastown, folks. This is a West Coast, locally owned, well, it's Vancouver. It's across the way from me. I'm Vancouver Island. But Lords of Gastown is, it's a Canadian-owned company. They have a real rebel vibe. I ain't riding nothing anymore, guys. I'm more of a poser now, right? I'm wearing the gear, but I'm not riding any motorbikes anymore. It's all, any of that stuff is gone back with my bad back. But I still have a rebel frickin' spirit, okay? And a warrior spirit, and so that's why I love having Lords. It says Lords there, but you can also get, I have one jersey where it's my birth year, 75 on the back, and it says 2B1V, because you can pay extra to have them customized. Whew. And the good thing about this is that it breathes, it's not like cotton, it doesn't get soaking wet, and I found out that it doesn't like, the wood dust, it doesn't stick. Like, you just shake it off and it goes away. So, it's freaking perfect for these. Ow! Lords of Gastown. Shop local. Support the small guys. Okay, spider check. Make sure there's nothing in there. We use the PPE with the wood carving dust discs. 2091 from 3M are the ones we use. And then just a set of good old goggles here, guys. And I like these ones because they have the padded the underparts, right? So that stuff can't get up and under your. I've had that. I've been wearing safety glasses before, just the regular ones that look like sunglasses. And I've had shit go up behind them. And that ain't nice. So that's why I got these ones, and I like that. But they do get foggy as you go. All right. So before I get going, I'll get my Dremel Flexshaft, vibing on the right vibe with the right burr. This fine one that you can kind of tell with these little balls, and you just kind of spin them in your finger, and when they don't kind of grab, you know that they're getting older. But this one's grabbing the skin good, so I know that that's sharp still. So I'm going to start with that. We are going to cut in that nose and brow, and then we will sand our maker's marks away as best we can. I will show you what's happened, and then we'll go on to the next step. Because as I said, it goes in stages. The nose and the brow line are number one. Next, you cut in the cheek lines and the eye, whichever eye you go with. And then last, after you do the cheeks and you take away this material, then last you put in a little smile. And it's like 1, 2, 3. 3 levels we're going with this. You can do all sorts. You can do it all sorts of ways. You can just do it flat and just and chase the face in, and that's more of a relief carving. But we want a little 3D on it. We wanna, this is a special project We want to do it the best we can to do it. All right. Kutzall fine taper. Hi, Suzanne. Rhinestone Suzanne. She's a warm one. She is a warm one. Okay, guys, we'll bring her on back here. Just a little bit right there. Woo! Goodness. Okay. Don't know why I'm doing all that because I was going to put it right back again, but okay. Let me just get caught up here. Oh, people are talking. I would go sit in my lawnmower to watch YouTube. Oh, going to meet the merchants tomorrow. Everybody's just talking and having a good time, and that's what this is all about. Okay. Holy smokes. It's a weird, it's cedar, but it also has like a little bit of a chippiness to it. Amy Jo's here. Hello, sister. Thanks for popping in. I'm wondering about you, old Amy Jo. So yeah, we're doing a little flower vase today there, sister. And just getting that first level. I was telling the folks, this is we're gonna do a 3-level spirit today, and this is level 1. Just getting that brow and the nose to pop off, and then folks, once I get it established to the point where I'm happy, you just go in here, use one of your little ball bits, put a dip in here, and then that will start getting your nose to have that dimension to it. So it's just little bit by little bit, folks. That's how she goes. So cool. Is it clay or wood? It's wood, Zora. This is cedar. A turned cedar. I'm power carving it. Yeah. So it's begun. And I think my nose moved a little bit off of my perfect center, but it's coming along. What is ever 100% perfect anyways, guys? Nothing. Nothing. And if it is, well, it's probably been made that way. It doesn't have much soul to it. Ow. Woo! She's warm. I'm just going to turn that fan up a little bit. Oh, even just for a little break there. Okay, I'll just hit. Crazy overhead light. But I found out from trial and error that when I'm carving, that having that light on and then this pushed away is best for you guys. And that's what this is all about. So even though I like to carve with these lights down and then just my little spotlight on it, that's how I like to see it, but it doesn't translate well. Okay? So that's why I change everything back and forth. And yes, as I was going, I realized that I haven't broke out the new, so I was saying to you guys that I wanted to try that little ball out in the new fine Burr detail set that you can get through the links in the basement, folks. If you're watching, all these tools that I'm using today, you can find in the links in the basement. And for the Kutzall stuff, you just follow that link that's below. That's my affiliate link. We are Kutzall affiliates and Amazon associates. I have to say that in every video. But yeah, you'll get a little discount at the time. But the big thing is that you're, you know, even the folks that, you know, you're just helping us a little bit by using that link. And it really, really helps. So, and this whole world of power carving is an amazing world to become a part of. And I guarantee that as long as you have the drive and you have the yearning to learn, you can do it. You can do it to it. And that's the motto of our channel. Doing it to it. Just taking the step. Taking the step. And then you can do weird things like this, you know? So, I'm gonna switch over to that little ball and start taking away some of the height there. You know, I could go in, well, maybe I should, but you could go in there with something like this And this here is a Kutzall flame, but in fine. Or actually, this might be coarse, but it's not extreme, right? So you can take that one in there and really, like, that's going, you know, some of our friends that are a little bit heavy hands would just go in there and have all of that material gone in about 10 seconds. And that speed will come as you guys get better and more, just more trusting your own hand. But Wowie, I just have this thing about doing everything in small increments, you know, measured, thought out. And I have better luck with my creations when I go a little bit more methodically. And I'm not right in the head, folks, okay? So I'm not saying this is how to carve. This is how I carve, okay? And this is not how to create from Two Brothers One Vision. We're not saying that we're professionals. We're just saying how we create. And that's what we share with y'all. Haven't got my sticker, haven't got to go find my glasses. Okay. Yes, everything Amy Jo makes is pure fire. Robert, your Pen on Fire is here. Mark Tries to Carve is here. Hi, Sean, how you feeling, brother? Been thinking of you, man. Truly, 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 truly. Hope you're doing good, man. I'll pull out my Mark of a Warrior. That's for you, Sean. Hold strong, brother. You're a warrior. Mark Tries to Carve. It ain't no Mark Tries to Carve. That's his name, but you folks, anybody that's watching and reading along, Mark can carve. Mark can carve like a badass. He's good. Ain't no trying. Sword and Dizzy Spells, says Pen on Fire. Sean is dealing with a lot of pain and a lot of problems in his neck and spine. And I'm a spinal surgery survivor and liver with I live with chronic pain, and I understand and I empathize to people that are in the same boat. And that's what Made in Pain is all about, which is a big part of this channel. Yes. Yes. Much love to Sean. Healing vibes. Thank you, Amy Jo. Yes, I would agree, Grumpy. We're all a little bit batshit crazy here, aren't we? That's what makes this tribe so truly, truly wonderful. Am I zoomed in still? Yeah. There. Jeez. You don't need to see up my nose. You don't need to see one of those. Hey, dude. I have to shout out to my brother. Hey, dude. When I wear Hey Dude shoes, and the whole Hey Dude is a thing from way back when we used to get wasted. My dad said it once when he was wasted, and it just always stuck. Hey, dude. But yeah, anytime he sees me wearing my Hey Dudes when I come over to Darren's house, he points at him. Hey, dude. Oh God. We joke around here. Love your red, white, and blue, says Robert. Oh, yes. Amy Jo's been making some fire flag carvings. They're cut out with scroll saw, and then she power carves in the details of the eagles and the wings and everything, and the claws, and she's a frickin' patriot and a wicked creator. If you're watching Amy Jo's show there, most of the people here that you see in the comment section, folks that are watching, all of these people have YouTube channels themselves and are really, really amazing creators. So check them all out too. Please subscribe to all of them, and subscribe to Wowie, and hit the like button. Feed the hamster, folks. The algorithm hamster. I found out what the algorithm was. It's a big, fat, greedy little hamster, and every time you hit like, she gets a pellet. Right? So if your channel ain't getting no pellets, the hamster ain't gonna be happy with you. We need to keep her happy. They're making me want to throw in the towel, says Amy Jo. Oh, well, they're really awesome creations, Amy. And I want to say too, I know this will ride heavy with her, But I want to say to everybody out there that Two Brothers, One Vision and Wowwy'z Workshop, our hearts and prayers are with Texas for everything that they're going through and all those people. My heart has just been broken for what's happened in Texas and now surrounding states as well. And I just want to know you. I just want people out there to know that you're in our hearts and prayers for Texas. And prayers to everybody facing just crazy weather right now in the world. Prayers for Texas. Okay, guys, well, the show must go on here, right? What are we at? Robert says, it makes me proud to be a CV41 Midway vet. Yes. Salute. And to Perry, if he's here, the Carving Wizard, a big salute to you, sir. We have many, many patriots in the tribe. And Perry's story, the Carving Wizard, he's an amazing and strong man. And you know what? I often talk of the Kindred Spirits wood carving group on here, folks, that I'm an admin for. Well, Perry, the Carving Wizard, is this month's featured member. Congratulations, Perry. You deserve that, man. If you're still watching, or if you watch this later. Yep. Perry Lowe is this month's featured carver. And he really deserves it. Yep. Perry rocks. Yeah, I'm going to hit the old heart there too. Bing, 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 bing. Right? Oh, have fun, have tons of work to do. Okay. Bye. I wish we couldn't talk a bit more, Suzanne. Thank you for coming in, your support, sister. You know, wow, we love you. Much love. So again, another channel, you guys. Suzanne, Rhinestone Suzanne right there. An amazing carver. Hit her up. Hit subscribe. Show the love. So, I'm going to try out a couple of these that I haven't. And there's one that's got it's like a mini, I done did it. Oh. Where are they? Oh, God. Oh, I knew that was going to happen eventually. This one here, it's like a little tiny flame burr with the fine flavor. I think that would be just perfect for right now. I don't even know if I need the round one. I'm to the point now where I need that little point on there to help get in there and take away more of that level. So let's switch over to that. Since I almost broke everything, how does that work now? I do not know. Well, no, maybe. Yeah? Huh? I don't know. I'll figure that out later. As long as I didn't lose them, I'm happy. So yeah, we're going to switch that over from the Kutzall Fine Taper in Flame Flavor. And folks, you might see that these kind of get bogged up, a little bit gumped up. You can burn that away with a torch. Okay, you won't ruin the burr if you use fire. But can you also get these little wire brushes that are like come with like file sets to clean the files, and these work really, really good on the burrs, and especially in the fine flavor. It's a good way to give them a little cleanup. You know, give them a little clean. Makes your carving experience a lot more pleasant. Okay, losing viewers, cleaning the burrs. I'm gonna put that little flame, in there. And we will get a little bit more of the depth achieved. It's just not deep enough yet. We wanted to have the old Just Carve Raw profile, right? And as you can see, so far, we're lacking in that area. So I'll just move a little bit more material, but I'm using the finer flavors because I'm not confident in how thick I want to, how deep I want to go, right? I'm just doing it nice and softly. Everybody's just talking. Suzanne, Albert Outdoors. Hello, Albert Outdoors. Welcome. Welcome to Wowwy'z Workshop. We're power carving today, sir. Making a flower vase, and it's actually a root tootin' usable flower vase. It has a glass tube that goes in it for the water and the flower, and you can take the tube out and clean it. That's what's happening. Okay, guys. Well, I've had a little bit of a break. The glasses have defogged. Let's go and get a little bit more depth achieved. And let's see if we can go to stage 2. Okay. That should be okay, eh? Maybe I'll go just a bit more. There we go. Hello, Runik's Workshop. How you doing, sir? Thanks for coming, man. Hit that like button, folks. Well, let me check, I didn't know you were here. Hey there, Tarek, how you doing, brother? People are still, hey, you gotta go. Happy carving, everyone. Hey, Matt, thanks for coming, brother. Very much appreciate you, Matt. I know you're a busy man. Thank you. Okay, so all subjective except for the steel. I make knives. Part that I know. Was just curious if there was a style to them or not. Oh, everybody, there's hey there talking. Well, yes, no problem. No clue what's going on, but they're talking. So that's how far we got. Hey, Plywood, how you doing, sir? Making a little flower vase, Woodspirit today. Plywood. So it's getting there. From trees to these is looking cool. Thank you, sir. I'm just gonna do a little just a little bit of sanding while we're still closed in there. Close up. But yeah. Now that I got the nose popping off more how I want it. Again, this is the first one. The first one that I made. Named Fiona. And that was the Fiona. That was the beginning of the Fiona project, is what I call it. And so this is piece one. This is piece. This is Fiona. This is Fiona. And this is piece one of the Fiona project. Okay, I got that. So right quickly here, while I'm not even going to put the PPE on. I'm just going to do it really quickly. I'm going to take a little ball, Kutzall ball, in the fine flavor, and I'm just going to give her a little touch right here to give that nose a little bit of shape inward. Okay, just a nice little soft little, a nice little soft little dip. Don't need to get all crazy. I'll show you how quick it is. You can do it. Jeez, I get doing stuff and I forget I'm not even wearing my PPE. Don't do that. Don't do what Wowie did. You got a little bit of a sand in. Going like that, and then up here. Like that. And now for folks that don't know or aren't familiar, this is a Peter Blair sanding mandrel. You can get sanding mandrels online, like Amazon and stuff, where else you can hit Peter up and see if you can get one from him. I don't have a link or nothing for that. That's just kind of like word of mouth. You go to Pete and you get one kind of deal. But yeah, if you don't know yet, I am an obsessive sander. I love a sanding. And I love it when your piece in the end is super, super smooth, no maker's marks, like your carving is alive, right? That's the goal. Like it's a living, real, breathing entity. So I'm just going to sand a little bit while I catch my breath. Like I mentioned before, it's warm in the creation station today, folks. Big man like me, I'm 6'1". I used to be 6'2.5", but after I injured my back, I shrunk. How's that? Oh, is Amy Jo gotta go? Bye, sister. Thank you. Much love, eh? Much love to you, sister. Yes, we are addicted to sanding, aren't we so? There's just something about it. You bring in this creation to life, and every Woodspirit is just so special. I see them as, after you've took and put in all of this time and effort to make something like this, they have a life and a spirit of their own. And that's kind of like the magic of the Woodspirits. They're protectors. So it's, you see how that profile now? And I know it's still flat and stuff, but what you do is you just keep on, because that's the point of your nose, right? So you can just keep on gradually going there, and you bring in this face out. What do you guys think so far? If I sanded my stuff till there was no maker's marks, I'd have a pile of sawdust left, says Matthew. Hey, Andre, I understand, man. I understand. No, I just got, like I said, a bit of a touch of the old OCD, so I'm good. I'm just kind of known for the sanding. So I don't know if you saw it in the beginning, but it did have cheeks and a little smile. So I'm going to draw them back in, just roughly. And I'll do this thing where I'll draw until I can see the right line and they're matching on both sides. And then I'll just erase the parts that I don't need. It's a quick way to, if you're if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, drawing is my thing. It's still higher on one side than the other, so we gotta go back there and fix that. Yeah, drawing is my first artistic love. Ever since I was old enough to understand, I've had a pencil in my hand. It kind of gave me a bit of a... Oh, now it's way too low. Oh, back into the drawing board. It kind of gave me an ace up the old sleeve, if you will, when it came to carving, because I was used to drawing. And when I got the Flexshaft, when I figured out that it was a Flexshaft that we use, right? The old Flexshaft is like having a pencil in your hand, right? Just Carve Rob is here. Hello, brother. That's why I like to carve with knives, says Rob. No sanding or very, very little. Thank you, sir. Thanks for popping by, Rob. And you know what? I still don't have one of your knives. Just Carve Rob makes amazing knives, folks. Amazing carving knives. Thanks for popping in, Rob. Just making a little flower vase, if you will. You know, working on the old Just Carve Rob profile. Thanks for coming by, brother. Can you tell me what the XP means, please? Music Mix is here. Sorry I can't read it. It looks like you're Russian or maybe Bulgarian, but that's awesome. Thanks for coming, Music Mix. Bing! XP. Sorry, sister, I don't know what XP you're referring to. Maybe it's something different. Okay. Maybe it's part of a different conversation and I don't even know. I'm reading back here, guys. Thank you guys just for giving me a moment here to catch up. Oh, at Music Mix. What's going on with you? What's going on? I see. Okay. People are just chatting. Okay, well. So I got... This one needs to be a little bit more and straight out there. And then, after I cut in the cheek lines, guys, I will take some more material away, like you see me doing. And then I'll cut in that little mouth. And so for the eyes here, I'll just redraw them on. And I'm just going to go with that easy peasy, you know, top lid down kind of eye that looks like the person, or the subject I should say, is like smiling with their eyes down. I'll cut that in first and then decide if I want to make maybe some lids or not. But if not, you can go the easier way. You cut this in and then you just undercut it a bit and make it like it's a top lip by taking some more of that material away under there, and it'll look like a closed eye. And then I also, and it's important to do things like this, I always put a little crow's foot or whatever it's called. What is it called, that wrinkle line? Whatever those are called, crow's feet. I always put them in on my carvings. It's just a little touch, right? It's a little added touch that makes it look like it's real. And again, this was a really, really early carving. Like, look at my chin there. Like, whoa, what are you frickin' thinking there, Wowie? But I was worried. This was a wood-turned thing, right? But this was an antique, so I was scared I was going to mess it up. All right. Back to this baby. So I will cut that line in. And I will go in there with my little tiny Dremel 106 carbide cutter. And that will just go in. To follow these eye lines, it's just a little tiny ball. Okay? And then it just gives me, so I can go in there, cut it in, and then I can go in after with my Dremel 7144 diamond burr that I like so much. And then you just kind of clean up the cut marks. I'll just do that quickly, and then you'll see. Thank you for hanging in there with old Wowie. We appreciate you. Thanks for popping by, Just Guard Rob. It means a lot when the big channels come and support the little guys. Okay. So let me cut those eyes and those cheek lines in quick. Alrighty. Switch over quickly. What do I got? Oh yeah, something here. This one looks pretty clean. Let's see, go with the old wire brushing. Excuse me. I think that's a 7144. Alright. Righty tighty. Do it to it. Alright. Alrighty. A quick change back to the Kutzall fine paper. Get more of that bulk material underneath the cheeks and the chin. And then we'll have a break. Brush there, hit the sander. Oh, we're ready, guys. Woo! So kind of forgot that I didn't have my dust collector on there. Jeez, Wowie. What you thinking? What are you thinking, kid? And whoa, sorry, slamming everybody around. Okay. Looks cool, Wowie, says John. It's hot here, got my eyes are sweating. Okay, good night. So, thanks for coming, sister. Really appreciate you. Wow, we're 3 minutes away from the 2 hours. Guys, we did good in the hot. Woo! My goodness. Let me just catch up here. Oh my goodness, Larry, that little guy reminds me of how fun it is to carve rolling pins. Yes. Yes. This is kind of like, you know, how a person could do a rolling pin face. Robert C. Peters. A lot of work carving through the plastic coating on the pins. Yes, that is. Just carve Rob. It's a smart tip. There's a lot of, sometimes just getting to the wood can be a mission. But that's pretty good to get this little Woodspirit flower vase started. Hey guys, not too shabby. And nothing, you know, those didn't blow apart on live TV, so that's always good. Ah, Jesus. Wow, Wowie. There, that's better. I like to close the show with the nice calm lighting. The Wowie Christmas lights lighting. Anybody ever carve a bowling pin? Yes, yes, sir. R.J. Chase. It's face to face carving on Facebook. R.J. Chase used to be an admin, Robert, for Kindred Spirits and Carving Fusion, and he's just been carving again. His name is R.J. Chase, and he carves bowling pins and bowling balls, brother. And as far as I know, he mainly uses diamond burrs for the hard rock bowling balls, but he does like Buddha, smiling Buddha faces, and also he carved me an 8-ball. He took an 8-ball and he turned it into a man listening to earphones, and he's smiling like kind of like this kind of deal with the smiling and the closed eyes on an 8-ball, and then each of the 8s he turned into headphones. Isn't that cool? Used a few as target practice, says Runa. Yep, me too. They like to make good targets. Love the shape of the face, says Runa. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm pretty stoked with that little lady, or whatever have you, it be. And you know, as you've seen today, like I'm gonna refine the nose, narrow it, sand things so nice and soft. But we're not very, very far away from having a face established. And just like I said, we did it in 3 levels. I didn't carve the mouth. That would have been level 3. But we were almost there. And you all saw it happen. And isn't that cool? Isn't that magical how power carving and how carving is? That you can bring that out of wood. It started off with just a thing like that, right? You guys all saw. Bing! There we go. There we go. And already, like this was the first one I did. Already I'm seeing that, you know, I'm going deeper. I'm bringing that chin back farther. When the first time I was a little bit afraid, right? But no. Slowly but surely you get more brave. And you carve deeper. And when you're doing 3D, carving deeper is the way to go to really make things pop. And play with the shadow play. The shadow play is such an important part of carving, wood carving. If you can get the shadows to play in your favor, that's a huge part of it. Carve deep, says Just Carve Rob. That's right, brother. Carve deep. Thank you, Plywood. I appreciate that. It's going to be neat. And I don't know if you guys caught that part, but, well, yeah, LaRue's holding on to it. This is going to be an actual, like, it's an actual working flower vase because we put a beaker in it. And so you can put water in it's an actual really working flower vase. Yeah. Pete Blair made those for me. Made the wood vessel. And I have 4 other ones that he turned that are going to be coming up in different projects. One's like a round ball. One is made out of a cedar fence post. Like those have those like really rough 3-sided old cedar that they used to make fences from. One of them is made out of that. Another one is like a vase shape, kind of like an urn, and it has a big, huge bark inclusion up the side, which I just love. I love to embrace the brokenness of things, you know, made in pain. And that's a really, really cool piece. Pete was saying how we could, different ideas of how you could fix it. I was like, no, man, you don't fix that. There's a Chinese term for, you know, fixing the cracks with glue. You wear it with pride, right? So that's really, really cool. So yeah, I have, this was the basic. This was the practice one. And we just went off this idea for the shape and the hole, right? And so this was the very first one. And I'm just now getting brave enough to carve them because they're, you know, one of a kind things, right? And it's not very, very often you can find a wood turner to say, yeah, I need this hole to be a certain size and yada yada, and don't go all the way down because I need to carve a face into it. And, you know, it's a lot goes into that little vessel. So I wanted to make sure that I was good enough to do it before I started them. But now I do feel confident enough to try it on live TV, Wowie. Do it to it. Hit that like button, folks, please. Please hit the like. I'm about 10 likes short of what I was last week. You can double touch your screen. You hit the like button and it gives a pellet to the algorithm hamster. So even if you don't like Wowie, think of the hammy. Think of the algorithm hammy. Hit the like. Gives him a pellet. Okay? Thank you. Pete is a great wood spinner, says Rob. You are damn tootin'. Mark, look, Mark tries to carve, says, turn it into a bong, Larry. Everything's always got to be turned into a bong with you guys. That's Aiden and Bing. Aiden wants me to turn Bing into a bong. No! Speaking of Bing, since we're at that part of the show, I'm going to show you. Oh! There went the fan. I'm going to show you what happened with Bing. Okay. Those are the front ones. Yeah. This is the back ones. Yeah, that reminds me I have to go a bit deeper in there, but okay. So that's the back ones. And they're all going to be sunken in there and glued just right. And then this is the front ones. This is Bing's third eye there. And then this is, yeah, it goes. That's right. There's a method to Wowwy'z old madness here. Okay. So that's how we got Bing set up now with her crystals. And the one coming out of her third eye there. Bing! Isn't that neat? And this will all be painted forest green. Her cloak is going to be forest green with moss and grass growing up it. And then her base is going to have, her burl base is going to have little clusters of just little tiny crystals poking out in the burl spots there. I'm really stoked about this. And Rob, if you didn't know what Bing was, she was this stump that I found, a burl, exposed burl with a branch, and I cut it off here and I cut it off here out of the forest. Bing! And then I just had her here. And so this was all rotted out, so I fixed all this with wood epoxy to make it match the rest of her robe. This is drilled out for a E12 light socket. This is going to be a lamp. And yeah, that's Bing. And you're right. Pete is a great wood spinner, described Rob. Very talented person. All around. So yeah, guys, that's Bing. And we'll be going back to her in future episodes. But as well, we'll be working on this creation needs a name, folks. We need to have a name for that one. But think on that. Bing is going to look mint when finished. Thank you. The new Pokemon creature, Bing. That's right. It is sort of a Pokemon kind of creature. I'm sure stoked about her, man. And that was just sitting down here on the floor for 3 years now, Bing, since I cut it out of the quarry. It's called the quarry out here. And I just didn't know. I didn't know what to do. And then I started carving this face. And I don't know, she just came out. She just came out of the burl. She's not going to have a nose. There are no rules in fantasy creatures. That's why I love them. I haven't quite decided on the face yet, but because there's cracks that I've been fixing with super glue and baking soda. It makes the super glue. If you use super glue gel and then tap it with some baking soda on it afterwards, it turns it rock hard. And so I'll put it in the cracks and then I'll tap it with the baking soda and make it rock hard. And that's a really good way to like fill in, to fix things, you know, cracks and holes that you don't want. super glue gel and baking soda. And it's actually when I do electroforming, when I attach rings to a rock or a piece of glass or whatever that I'm going to be electroforming, I do that all with super glue gel and baking soda to make the rings stuck to the pendant. And we're going to get into electroforming very, very soon on our channel. And you guys are going to love that. I just know you guys are going to love that. Because it's freaking fun. And it's neat. So that's what's happening, folks. Thank you for being here. Are you going to put any lights under the crystals? No, nothing so far, Rob. I thought about that, but I would have to be drilling right through her for all those holes. And she's, I'll show you. We gotta do this right. Can't mix them up. That's the back ones. This is for the front ones. But this is her. So I drilled up through the middle of her, and I matched up with this one. See? Perfect match too, man. I was so happy. But yeah, I think if I had to like try and make lights in all of these, I would have to. It's just too much. The thing, Rob, the cool thing about Bing, because she's going to be a lamp, I found crystal LED bulbs. They're on their way in the mail. So they look like a crystal shard, but they light up. So she'll be holding that out of her little arm. So there'll be one lit up crystal, to answer your question. Hit that like, folks. One more and we got 30, and that's pretty good for an old Wowie. I ain't complaining with that. Thank you. Woo! I used CA glue and baking soda to seal lead in my fishing lures. Boy, I got to start doing that again. It sure works. I thought Bing was a caterpillar. Well, it's just a little creature. See, I started to put a little bit of her second arm there, right? But Matt said something about a type of grub that you guys have over there in New Zealand. I can't recall what he called it, but a gooey grub or something. He said it looked like that. I just don't know. I don't know what Bing is, but I make the watchers, so I've just been kind of calling Bing a baby watcher. Sounds like you have a plan, Larry. Yes, I do, sir. I do. And I really appreciate you coming and checking it out, Rob. I've been wondering about you, sir. Really appreciate everybody being here. 411? Well, let me hit a frickin' heart for all of you guys, man, for making it that long. 411, we're at 2 hours and 12 minutes. It does look like a hoo-hoo grub, that's right. A hoo-hoo grub. So maybe that's what she is, kind of. A little hoo-hoo grub that grows into a watcher, we'll say. For Wowwy'z Workshop. So yeah, that's basically today's show, folks. I really appreciate you guys coming, man. There is no YouTube without you. And I'll say it every time. I truly mean that. Hit that like before you go, please, so we can hit 30, guys. And please like and subscribe, you know. I do this every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific time. And I think that works out to 5 p.m. Central for the States. But anyways, 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, Pacific. I come back every Wednesday. It's WIP Wednesdays, the Wowwy'z Workshop. And we appreciate you. Henry L. What are we doing here, says Henry. Henry! It's been fun watching your channel. Thank you, Rob. I really appreciate you, man. I hope you come back. I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I'm learning. And it's channels like yours, Rob, that got me here. You and Jordy. And I mean that. Much love, man. Rain Palkanite. Hello, bro. You're just tuning in at the end. I'm sorry. We've been going for over 2 hours. We're carving a flower vase, Woodspirit. And if you like that, and you like that kind of thing, please subscribe. And we're going to be back next Wednesday, continuing on, bringing this to life. Take care, Runic. Thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate it. Take care, Trees to These. Thank you. Mark, Happy Curmudgeon, Rain Palconite. Yep, please come back, Rain. You'd be more than welcome here at Wowwy'z Workshop. Oh, we hit 30. Thank you, folks. Thanks for the likes, man. The algorithm hamster thanks you, too. Hey, look, I think you got your 30 likes. I did, sister. Thank you, Aubrey. My cousin, I love you. Give my love to the fam when you see him later. And tell Callum I got a card coming. I'm just late. Lots of shit on Wowwy's plate in the background that nobody knows about. But we're getting through it. We're getting through it. 31 likes. There we go. You guys are awesome. Stay awesome. Just carve. You too, Rob. Thank you for coming, man. Really appreciate you. And that has been WIP Wednesdays. Wowwy'z Workshop. Much love, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you come back again. Thanks, Rob. That's awesome. Take care, everyone. Wowie out.